There is a prayer so short that you can recite it in just 12 seconds, so simple that a child can memorize it, but so powerful that Kabbalistic rabbis called it the master key to heaven. For centuries, this prayer has been passed down through generations in Jewish families who experienced supernatural peace amidst chaos and saw doors open where everyone else saw walls. 12 seconds. That's all you need. 12 seconds that can transform an entire day. 12 seconds that can change the course of an impossible situation. 12 seconds that connect you directly to the throne of the eternal. And the most extraordinary thing is that this prayer doesn't require you to be in a special place. You can recite it in traffic. You can recite it before an important meeting. You can recite it when anxiety grips your chest at 3 in the morning. You can recite it in the middle of an argument that's about to explode. But here's the secret that few understand. It's not just about the words. It's about the spiritual frequency that these words release. When you recite this prayer with genuine faith, you're activating angelic forces that immediately begin to work in your favor. You're opening a direct channel between your soul and the heart of the Creator. And today, I'm going to teach you exactly what this prayer is, where it comes from, how to recite it correctly, and why it works even when all seems lost. What situation in your life is stealing your peace the most right now? Is it a debt that keeps growing? Is it a relationship that's falling apart? Is it an illness that scares you every night? Is it the fear of the future that paralyzes you? Hold that situation in your mind, because the prayer you're going to learn today was made precisely for that. If you feel it's no coincidence that you're watching this video right now, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. We are a family of seekers of ancestral wisdom who transform the impossible into testimonies. You belong here. In the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verses 24 to 26, we find the shortest and most powerful prayer in the entire Torah. It is the Birkat Kohanim, the priestly blessing. But there is an even more condensed version, taught by Kabbalistic masters, that captures the essence of this blessing in a single 12-second phrase. This phrase was discovered in the writings of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, one of the greatest Hasidic masters of all time. He taught that when a person is in extreme distress, when the mind is too confused for long prayers, when the heart is too heavy for elaborate words, this 12-second prayer is enough to tear open the heavens. Kabbalists understand that the number 12 is not random. 12 represents divine completeness. 12 tribes of Israel, 12 months of the year, 12 hours of the day, and 12 of the night. When you pray for 12 seconds with pure intention, you are connecting with the complete structure of time and space created by God. And here is the deepest secret. This prayer works because it doesn't ask for anything specific. It simply opens you to receive what God already wants to give. It's like unlocking a door that has always been ready to open, but that you kept closed with worry, fear, and disbelief. Here is a 12-second prayer that will change your life. Read it slowly. Feel each word. Eternal my God, bring peace to my heart and open the paths that only you know. Amen. That's all. 11 words in Portuguese. 12 seconds to recite calmly and reverently. But within these simple words lies a spiritual technology that sages took decades to fully understand. Let's break this prayer down into its sacred parts. Eternal my God, you are establishing a personal relationship. It's not a distant God. It's your God. You are declaring belonging. You are saying, I am your child. You are my Father. And children have direct access to the Father. Bring peace to my heart. You are asking for shalom. Not just the absence of problems, but inner wholeness. Peace that transcends circumstances. Peace that calms the storm within before calming the storm without. Kabbalists teach that when your heart is at peace, you attract solutions. When your heart is afraid, you attract more problems. This phrase restores peace as a foundation. And open the paths that only you know. Here is the master key. You are not telling God how to solve your problem. You are trusting that He knows paths you never imagined. Doors you didn't know existed, solutions that defy your limited logic. This is the faith that moves mountains. Amen. This word is not just a polite ending. Amen means, so be it, and I believe. When you say amen, you are sealing the prayer with faith. You are declaring, I believe that this prayer has already been heard. I believe that the answer is already on its way. I believe even before I see. There is a difference between reciting mechanically and reciting with power. Here is the sacred method that Kabbalistic rabbis taught to maximize the spiritual impact of this prayer. First, stop what you are doing. Even if it's just for 12 seconds, give God those 12 seconds without distraction. Turn off the surrounding sounds in your mind. Close your eyes if possible. Place your right hand over your heart. Second, take 3 deep breaths. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. This calms your nervous system and prepares your soul to receive. Conscious breathing is prayer without words. Third, visualize a golden light descending from the sky and enveloping you completely. This light is the presence of the eternal. You are not praying into emptiness. You are praying within the divine presence. Fourth, recite the prayer in an audible but soft voice. Don't shout. Don't whisper too weakly. Use a voice that you yourself can clearly hear. There is spiritual power when you hear your own words of faith coming from your mouth. Fifth, after saying Amen, remain silent for another 10 seconds. In this silence, don't think about anything. Just receive. This is the moment when God's answer is planted in the invisible field of your future. Sixth, open your eyes and resume your activities with a quiet certainty in your heart. Don't be anxious waiting for immediate signs. Trust that the spiritual process has been activated and is working in your favor even when you don't feel anything. The beauty of this prayer lies in its versatility. You can use it anytime, anywhere, in any situation. But there are specific times when its power is amplified. Use this prayer upon waking, before even getting out of bed. Your first 12 seconds of the day determine the spiritual frequency of all the following hours. When you begin your day surrendering your peace to God and opening your paths to Him, you position angels around you before any problems arise. Use this before important decisions, before signing a contract, before a job interview, before a difficult conversation. 12 seconds of prayer create an invisible shield that guides you to wise choices and wards off hidden traps. Use this when anxiety strikes, in the middle of the night, in the middle of traffic, in the midst of a panic attack. This prayer acts as a spiritual reset button. It interrupts the cycle of negative thoughts and restores your connection to divine peace. Use this when you feel envy or negativity from other people. There are people who block your path with spiritual witchcraft, even without knowing it. When you recite this prayer, you are breaking all invisible bindings and releasing God's favor that no one can block. Use this for your children. Place your hands on their heads while they sleep and recite this prayer. You are creating a shield of peace and open paths over their lives. Many problems they would face simply will not happen because you interceded with this powerful prayer. There is a spiritual and scientific reason for the power of this prayer. First, the spiritual reason. When you pray for peace before praying for solutions, you are putting things in the correct order. Most people pray desperately asking for money, asking for healing, asking for change, but they don't have inner peace. And without inner peace, even when blessings arrive, they cannot enjoy them. This prayer reverses the order. It says, first give me peace, then open the paths. When you have peace, you make better decisions. When you have peace, you attract better people. When you have peace, you see opportunities that fear hid. Now for the scientific reason. Studies on neuroplasticity show that when you repeat a phrase with emotional intent, you are literally rewiring circuits in your brain. You are creating new neural pathways of faith, peace, and hope. Each time you recite this prayer, you are strengthening these pathways until they become your automatic stress response. And there's more. When you pause for 12 seconds to pray, you're interrupting the cortisol cycle, the stress hormone. You're allowing your body to switch from fight or flight mode to rest and restore mode. In this state, your body heals better, your mind thinks better, and you literally attract better circumstances. Here is the secret that transforms this prayer from something useful into something that completely rewrites your destiny. Recite it every day for 40 consecutive days. 40 is the biblical number of complete transformation. Moses on the mountain for 40 days. Jesus in the desert for 40 days. The flood for 40 days. 40 days is the time it takes for a spiritual change to become permanent in your life. For 40 days, recite this prayer at least 3 times a day. Upon waking, at noon, and before sleeping. If you can recite it more often, even better. But never less than 3 times. 3 is the number of divinity, Father, Son, Spirit. 3 is the number of spiritual stability. And here's the golden rule. If you skip a day, you start over from scratch. This isn't punishment, it's spiritual law. Consistency is what creates the magnetic field of blessings around you. When you break consistency, you undo the field and need to rebuild it. At the end of the 40 days, you will no longer be the same person. Your peace will be unshakable. Your paths will be opened in ways you never imagined. And you will have such powerful testimonies that you yourself will be impressed by what God has done. The man of the impossible process. Ricardo had been embroiled in a seemingly endless legal battle for 3 years. He had been wronged by a former business partner and was losing everything: money, mental health, hope. His lawyer said the case was stalled, with no resolution in sight. Ricardo woke up every night with a tightness in his chest, unable to breathe properly. A friend sent him this 12-second prayer. Ricardo, skeptical but desperate, decided to try it. He began reciting it 3 times a day. At first, he felt he was just repeating empty words, but he persisted. In the second week, something changed within him. His anxiety lessened. He began to sleep better. In the third week, he received a call from his lawyer. The judge had changed, and the new judge wanted to review the case in person. In the 5th week, completely unexpectedly, the opposing party offered a favorable settlement. On the 40th day of the protocol, Ricardo signed the agreement. He recovered 80% of what he had lost. But more important than the money, he recovered his peace. He learned that when you surrender your ways to God, God opens doors that human justice cannot open. The woman of the divided family. Beatrice hadn't spoken to her daughter in 2 years. A terrible argument had destroyed their relationship. Beatrice carried a pain in her chest that wouldn't go away. She had tried to reconnect several times, but her daughter rejected her. Each rejection was a stab in a mother's heart. A neighbor taught her the 12-second prayer. Beatrice began reciting it 3 times a day, always crying when she reached the part, "Open the paths that only you know." She didn't see how that situation could be resolved. Her daughter's pride seemed like an insurmountable wall. But Beatrice continued praying. In the 4th week, she received a message from her daughter. Short, cold, but it was their first contact in 2 years. Beatrice didn't respond with demands. She simply thanked her for the message and said she loved her. In the 6th week, her daughter asked to meet. The meeting was tense at first, but something had changed in the daughter's heart. She apologized. They cried together. Today, 2 years later, they are best friends again. Beatrice is certain it was the 12-second prayer that broke down the wall. God opened a path that neither Beatrice nor her daughter could see. The terminal illness family. Andre and Camilla had a 5-year-old daughter named Sophia. Sophia was diagnosed with a serious illness. The doctors gave her only a few months to live. The couple was devastated. They prayed for hours and hours, but their anguish only increased. Their faith was being crushed by fear. A hospital chaplain taught them the 12-second prayer. "Stop praying desperately," he said. "Pray for peace first. Peace for yourselves. Peace for Sophia. And let God open the way." Andre and Camilla began reciting the prayer 3 times a day, together, holding hands beside Sophia's bed. Peace came first. An inexplicable peace. They were still scared, but they were no longer paralyzed. Then, in the 3rd week, a specialist doctor from another country was visiting the hospital and saw Sophia's case. He offered an experimental treatment that was not available in Brazil. Sophia began treatment. The initial results were modest, but encouraging. 6 months later, the disease was in complete remission. A year later, Sophia was cured. The doctors called it a miracle. Andre and Camilla knew. It was the 12-second prayer that opened a path they could never have planned. It seems too simple to work. Exactly. And that's why it works. God doesn't demand complex performances. He demands simple faith. Jesus said that if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. A mustard seed is tiny. 12 seconds is very short. But when you offer those 12 seconds with a true heart, you are giving God something He values above elaborate sacrifices: pure trust. Complexity doesn't impress God. Sincerity does. Stop thinking you need to pray for hours to be heard. You need to pray with faith. And this 12-second prayer is designed precisely for that. Maximum faith in minimum time. I've prayed so much and nothing has changed. I understand your exhaustion, but let me ask, did you pray for peace first, or did you only pray for change? Most prayers go unanswered because the person doesn't have the peace to receive the answer. God may be sending the solution, but you're so agitated that you can't see it. This prayer is different. It doesn't begin with requests. It begins with surrender. Bring peace to my heart. When peace comes, spiritual eyes are opened. And when spiritual eyes are opened, you begin to see the paths God is opening. Try it for 40 days. You will see the difference. How can a 12-second prayer compete with my gigantic problems? Your problems seem enormous because you are looking at them with human eyes. But when you pray, you are inviting the Creator of the universe to look at your problems with divine eyes. And for Him, no problem is too big. What is impossible for you is just another day's work for Him. 12 seconds are enough because you're not solving the problem alone. You're activating God's power. And God's power doesn't need time. He speaks and worlds exist. He blows and sees part. 12 seconds of genuine faith release more power than 1,000 hours of worry. There is an advanced level of this practice that multiplies the power exponentially. It's called triple prayer, and it works like this. You recite the 12-second prayer 3 times in a row, but with 3 different focuses. First time, recite to yourself. Eternal my God, bring peace to my heart and open the paths that only you know for me. Second time, recite this for someone you love. Eternal my God, bring peace to the heart of and open the paths that only you know for them. Third time, recite this for someone who has hurt you or whom you consider an enemy. Eternal my God, bring peace to the heart of and open the paths that only you know for them. This third level is the most powerful. When you pray for the one who hurt you, you break spiritual chains of revenge and bitterness. You release forgiveness. And when you release forgiveness, you release your own blessings that were trapped by resentment. This is master-level Kabbalistic wisdom. Here is your challenge. For the next 30 days, recite this prayer 3 times a day without fail. Set alarms on your phone if needed. Write reminders. Do whatever it takes to not forget. Create a journal where you will write down 3 things after each day. How did you feel while reciting the prayer? Any sign of peace that you experienced during the day? Any door that opened, even a small one? On the 30th day, reread your journal entry from the beginning. You will be surprised by how many changes have occurred without you realizing it at the time. The transformation is gradual, but it is real. And in the end, you will have documented proof that this prayer works. My beloved son, my beloved daughter, in this sacred moment, I lift my hands over you and release the blessing of the Eternal One that never fails. May the peace that surpasses all understanding descend upon you now like dew from heaven upon thirsty grass. May every closed door in your life open with a sound of celestial thunder. May paths you never imagined appear before your feet. May enemies become allies. May impossibilities become testimonies. May tears turn into laughter of uncontrollable joy. Decree over you. Your mind will no longer be enslaved by anxiety. Your heart will no longer be a prisoner of fear. Your soul will no longer be held hostage by circumstances. You are free. Free to rest in divine peace. Free to walk on paths opened by God Himself. May the next 40 days be the most transformative days of your life. May each 12-second prayer be a seed of miracle planted in the garden of your future. And when you look back, may you clearly see the hand of God rewriting your story. You are not an orphan. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are a child of the King of Kings. And the King has already decreed peace upon you. He has already decreed open paths upon you. He has already decreed victory upon you, peace upon your home, peace upon your children, peace upon your finances, peace upon your health, peace upon every area of your life that today seems like a war. So be it. So be it now. So be it forever. Amen. Ve'amem Selah.